Welcome back to Boxes and Bubbles, where today we're looking at King of Spies numbers 1 and 2, published by Image Comics. Written by Mark Millar, art by Matteo Scalera, colors by Giovanna Niro, and letters by Clem Robins. Mark Millar is a writer that probably needs no introduction for anyone who's been into comics for a while. If you've never read any comics of his, you'll almost certainly have heard of an adaptation or two of something he's written. So many of his books have been turned into movies or shows, including Wanted, The Kingsman, and Kick-Ass, and his comic book company, Millar World, was bought by Netflix, who have already added shows based on Jupiter's Legacy and Supercrooks to its lineup. I read Kick-Ass back in the day, but more recently he caught my eye with Sharky the Bounty Hunter and Space Bandits, both of which were super fun adventure books, begging for a crossover, which unfortunately doesn't seem to be coming. Now he's back with a new book, King of Spies. In issue 1, we're introduced to our protagonist, Roland King, who was a prolific secret agent, and thanks to his service, is also a Sir. More recently, being that he's a dapper 65-year-old, he's been director at various security companies. He spends his days drinking and socializing at the club, that is, until he collapses, and discovers that he has glioblastoma and only 6 months to live, with only 3 of those in good health. Matteo Scalera's artwork is great. There's kind of a roughness to the edges of everything, with inconsistencies in the thickness of the lines. It almost looks like each outline is drawn twice. None of this is a negative, it gives everything a cool, rough edge, literally. And Giovanna Niro's colors complement it perfectly. It's not a dark palette, but it's definitely not bright or garish. The color white is a really good example of what I mean. Look at Roland's shirt in these panels. You know that's a white shirt and a white beard, but it's not plain white or off-white. It's white, but it's been darkened somewhat. There's a touch of grey or even maybe green to muddy the colors without making them drab. There's a really cool moment where Roland takes down some thugs, and the colors switch to this red heavy color scheme. And again, you can see here, it's not bright red, it's kind of a darker orangey red. As you might expect from a Mark Millar book, the dialogue is witty and fun to read. And at the end of issue 1, Roland decides he's going to rid the world of all the monsters and try to make it up to the people I let down. So listen up, all you presidents and kings, all you crooks on your thrones and hypocrites at the pig trough you call high office. You're going to pay for wasting my life like this. From here on out, we're getting a bit more spoiler heavy. So if you want to check this out and you don't want to know any more, now's the time to stop watching. Honestly, my recommendation would be to read issues 1 and 2 without knowing any more than I've already told you. I'm just letting you know that something is coming, and even that feels like kind of a shame. I got such a huge kick out of issue 2 because of issue 1, so let's get into that. Issue 1 sets the book up to appear that Roland is going to take out a laundry list of people he's decided deserve it. It's only a 4-issue miniseries, so the direction it seems to be taking is a last-ditch whirlwind rampage. And it is, and I would have been cool with just reading that. But the reason I wanted to make a video about issues 1 and 2 together is how much of an awesome surprise issue 2 is. It takes your expectations and flips them completely on their head. Roland pulls such an unexpected move and makes some very smart choices. It was awesome to have what I thought was happening prove to be completely wrong. There are also some great new characters introduced in the second issue. Issue 2 begins with the start of Roland's kill list. Human traffickers, gang members, but that really is just the start, because his next target is another agent. Yeah, Roland has accepted the fact that he has done some terrible things during his career, and he wants to make up for that before his time is up. And if he's done bad things as a governmentally contracted killer, then so have the other agents. He wants to take them down with him. I didn't see that one coming at all. I thought it was such a cool twist, and how he's going about it is cooler still. Very few people know the code that is used to communicate hits to agents, so it's not difficult for King to send a false one to Lucas Bell, a blind sniper who removed his own eyes to make himself a better shot. Nobody knows how, but somehow he never misses. King sets him up to take out 2 former prime ministers, adding 2 more kills to his list of high-ranking, corrupt people. But in doing so, he also creates a situation in which he knows exactly where Bell is. 2 birds, 1 stone. Elsewhere, thanks to his trail of destruction, the agency has quickly figured out who their rogue agent is, and decided to call in some help to shut him down. Unfortunately for Roland, all of them have reason to hold a grudge for him, and it seems like the last 2 issues are going to be a race to take him down. I had a lot of fun having my expectations get completely flipped on their head reading this book. But that's all for this one. If you'd like to hear about some other books that came out recently, please make sure to check out the rest of my channel for some more spoiler-free reviews, and give me a follow on Twitter at Boxes and Bubbles to hear about the dozens of comic books I read every week, but don't have time to make videos for. And while I've got you here, I'd like to ask a favour. So far, my videos are getting around 40 views each. There are a couple that got many more than that, which I managed by paying to advertise. I didn't really like that. It felt disingenuous, it felt kind of hollow. I would like for others to be able to find my videos on their own, but until I get around 50 subscribers, some of my videos might not even show up in searches. If I get to 100 subscribers, that means I get my own custom URL, so my YouTube URL can be youtube.com/boxesandbubbles instead of youtube.com/channel equals whatever it is right now. I don't like to ask, but if you enjoyed this video or any of my others, please consider giving me a sub just to help me get up to the 50 mark so that others can find this on their own, and hopefully it kind of snowballs from there and picks up its own momentum. Thank you very much!